a magical day trip to Chiemsee and the Bavarian Alps. Wonders with Bonne. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Wonders with Bonne. Today, I'm taking you with me on one of the most magical adventures I have experienced in Bavaria, Germany. And trust me when I say, this trip felt like walking inside a fairy tale. Very early in the morning, full of excitement, we started our journey. At first, everything looked normal. Roads, villages, small towns. But little by little nature started changing around us. The buildings became fewer, the sky wider, and the air already felt fresher, even before stepping out. Then suddenly, in the distance, mountains appeared, not small ones, huge mountains, with white snow on top. The moment I saw them clearly, I almost lost my mind. They looked unreal, like nature had been carefully painted just for that moment. The closer we got, the more everything changed. Greener forests, open valleys, rivers, and fresh cold air that felt completely different from the city. At some point, I stopped talking completely because I was just staring outside the window. Tiny villages, cows peacefully grazing, church towers, and giant mountains behind everything. It honestly felt like entering another world. The air became colder, cleaner, and so refreshing that even my mood changed instantly. I felt calm without even trying. Our first stop was near Inzell, a peaceful area surrounded by mountains and forests. Immediately after arriving, we decided to go hiking. At first, I was very confident. I was walking like someone who hikes every weekend, already imagining myself reaching the top like a pro. But the mountain had other plans for me. The beginning was peaceful. Birds singing, trees moving softly, fresh forest air everywhere. It honestly felt like therapy. Then suddenly, it became steeper, very steep. My breathing changed, my legs became heavy, and my confidence disappeared completely. Meanwhile, experienced hikers were walking like it was nothing, smiling, talking, enjoying life. And me, I started questioning every life decision I had made. At one point, I truly felt like I was fighting for survival. I even wondered who invented hiking, because why is it this hard? But despite the struggle, the views were absolutely breathtaking. Every time I stopped to breathe, I looked around and instantly forgot my suffering for a few seconds, because nature there is just magical. And that was only the beginning of our adventure. And honestly, the photos are so beautiful, exactly like what you are seeing in the videos. There is even a long wooden staircase built inside the forest and mountains. Imagine walking through tall trees, fresh air everywhere, and wooden steps going higher and higher into the hills. It's the kind of path where every step feels like you are getting closer to heaven. People use this staircase to climb up to the viewpoints at the top, where the most breathtaking views are waiting. Every turn feels like a new postcard moment. Mountains, forests, and endless green landscapes. And at the very top, that is where the beautiful church is located. The same church you can see in the photos. It looks peaceful, powerful, and almost like it is watching over the mountains, even from a distance. It gives this calm and magical feeling, like the whole forest is protecting it. But let me be honest with you, I did not make it to the top. I stopped halfway in the forest. I was sitting there on a bench, just trying to understand life. I was asking myself if I should continue going up or go back down. And honestly, both options were stressful. Going up felt too hard. Going down also felt scary because I was already deep inside the forest. So I ended up just sitting there like, okay, what now? moment is where I really understood the feeling of being stuck in the middle. You want to go forward, you want to go back, but everything feels impossible. So I stayed there, breathing, resting, and enjoying the view from where I was sitting on the bench you saw. Honestly, that bench saved my life. Meanwhile, the people I came with continued climbing and sent me all the beautiful photos from the top, and I was just there looking at them like, wow, so this is what I missed. But even where I was sitting, the view was still beautiful. Fresh air, tall trees, silence, and that peaceful forest feeling that you can't describe. The plan of the day was actually to reach Kirche St. Pancrats, built around 1700. This small mountain church has a long history. It was built as a peaceful place of prayer for people living in the mountain area. For centuries, hikers and locals have visited it as a place of reflection, silence, and spiritual calm. It sits high above the valley, making it feel close to the sky and far away from everything else. And also, Burgroine Karlstein, a historic castle ruin located in the region. It dates back to medieval times when it served as a defensive fortress, watching over the valley and surrounding trade routes. Today, only parts of the stone walls remain, but you can still feel the history, like the place is quietly telling stories from hundreds of years ago. Both places were the main goal of the hike, but life said, not today for me. Still, even without reaching the top, the experience itself was unforgettable. Sometimes the journey in the forest, the struggle, the fresh air, and even the bench moments become part of the story too. After that struggle, we went down to a small lake called Thumsee. Even though it is smaller than Chiemsee, it was full of life, tourists, swimmers, families, and peaceful nature everywhere. The water looked so clean and calm, and the mountains around it made everything look like a postcard. Then came the highlight of the day, Chiemsee. Wow, the moment I saw it, I understood why it is called the Bavarian Sea. Huge lake, endless water, mountains in the background, boats everywhere. From Prien am Chiemsee, we took a boat to Herreninsel, and honestly, the boat ride already felt like an adventure. The wind became stronger, and I started thinking, what if this boat falls into the lake? But thankfully, everything went well, and the view absolutely breathtaking. When we finally arrived at Herreninsel, the first thing that hit me was the calmness of the island. No cars, no noise, just nature, water, and fresh air everywhere. And immediately, I saw horse carriages. They looked so royal and elegant, like something straight out of a historical movie. I got too excited and said, I must ride this. While waiting for the carriage to be full, I just stood there, enjoying everything around me. Tall trees, peaceful paths, the sound of birds, and the gentle movement of people exploring the island. Honestly, it already felt magical before even reaching the palace. Then the carriage ride started, slowly moving through the forest, surrounded by nature, fresh air hitting my face, and the sound of horses walking on the path. It honestly felt like traveling back in time, into a royal era. After a few minutes, we finally reached the highlight, Herrenchiemsee Palace, built by King Ludwig II, known as the Fairytale King. This palace was inspired by Versailles in France because he admired grand royal architecture and King Louis XIV. And honestly, when you see it in real life, it feels unbelievable. Massive buildings, golden details, perfect symmetry, beautiful gardens everywhere, fountains dancing with water, statues standing like guardians of history. Everything feels rich, powerful, and magical at the same time. Even the surroundings of the palace are breathtaking. Perfectly cut grass, long walking paths, colorful flowers, and silence that makes you slow down without even trying. We didn't go inside the palace, but even the outside alone was more than enough to leave me speechless. Then we continued walking around the island, and honestly, it felt like peace everywhere. Swans swimming slowly on the water, ducks resting near the shore, and people quietly enjoying the view. At some point, I just stopped and thought, wow, this is what peace feels like. Later, we walked toward the lakeside again and watched sailboats, beautiful but also stressful for me because the wind looked so strong, and I kept imagining dramatic situations in my head. Meanwhile, the sailors looked completely relaxed, like nothing was happening. Around Chiemsee, there were also small cafes, kiosks, and souvenir shops. Everything looked nice. But honestly, everything was very expensive. Even a small snack makes your wallet cry a little. But still, people were happy, laughing, eating ice cream, taking pictures, cycling, and enjoying summer life around the lake. We also saw a small historic train connected to Bavarian royal history. It reminded me how deep the history of this place is and how many visitors came here over the years just to experience this beauty. As the day went on, the sun started to lower slowly, and the golden light on the lake became even more beautiful. Everything looked soft, warm, and peaceful, but at the same time, we started feeling sad because beautiful days always end too fast. From hiking struggles to lakes, boats, mountains, forests, horse carriages, and royal palaces, everything felt like a dream packed into one day. And honestly, this trip reminded me again that nature, history, and simple moments are some of the most beautiful things in life. Sometimes we just need to stop, breathe, and enjoy what God created. Thank you so much for watching Wonders with Bonne. Would you survive this whole adventure better than me? See you in the next journey.